have the. Well, actually, I don't remember.
And we're live with Kohlrabi and myself, Tom, hosting this week's episode of our third weekly online leagues tournament, the Wednesday edition, mostly catering to American players from all Americas, North, Central, South, but also guest starring probably some European players who don't mind playing during the night. Cole, are you excited to join me today for this edition of the AWOL?
Yes, very excited to be here. I should one day just count how many Americans versus Europeans or Spain. I mean, I know sometimes when you say European and you include certain countries, they don't like that, but I think you guys might have us outnumbered over there across the sea to the east. So
Yeah, I'm looking at the player list right now and seeing already like some familiar names. Claudius, the arguably team leader. I don't know if that's like his actual position, but one of the founding members of the Altered Aces, one of the bigger teams from France,
mm,
is likely to be playing tonight. I don't know if I'm recognizing other names. Uh, I think Ginu might be. I forget what his nationality is, or she. I don't even know.
yeah, let's see here. We have DLA in one of the names and GG in another, but those are not acronyms we have on our
Yeah,
secret team spreadsheet yet. But I do see the Alter Aces people, Claudius, Popeye,
we
and
have Freeloader from Team AQZ, um, whose member notably include Andy and who is like streaming the Monday edition regularly and doing an awesome job at that. So if you haven't watched this, for sure watch the video on demand from their cast. It's always awesome. I see Elwiwi also from Team Agité, another French team. And then I see Victor Mota from Team After You, which is I think newly formed team from Brazil, who has been doing has a lot of players placing in top finishes on AWOL tournaments. So for sure, team to look out for.
yeah, I heard something interesting in the AWOL Discord, and I'm cleaning my glasses, or else I would say who it was from. But someone mentioned that I think AFTU had to import cards into Brazil early from some other country because the distributor in Brazil had a delay on Trial by Frost. So
Yeah,
they
I think in Brazil it officially releases this Friday. I heard that they had the tournament a couple weeks ago, and only Beyond the Gates cards were legal because it wasn't like possible to get those cards out yet. But I'm guessing online, like they were able to. It's easier to get cards online through other retailers. But for sure, it is kind of a hassle, and so it's a testament to the love of the game that they are still out there and competing with everyone else, even though like the card availability isn't as easy for them.
yeah, and just the the fact to go to import certain cards from different countries just so they can have them. I think Keilon Guy also has trouble getting actual boxes and has mentioned buying like a set of commons and rares from someone on the internet. So
Interesting.
very, very cool. Another name I also see here is Bria Danwater out of Spain. I lost a game on, well, actually, I won. I almost did not give myself credit. I won a game against them last night on stream. It was a very close one, though. It was the very cool Cojo versus Aonis match.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. So I think we have the tournament starting just now, and we're gonna get first pairings. It's gonna take a couple of seconds or minutes for the tables to start up. Are you? Is there anything that you're especially excited to see tonight, Cole? Any particular tech you're looking for?
I don't know about decks. I always want to see just something new and interesting, and I want to see Trial by Frost and what people are cooking up in the new set versus just playing it safe with Beyond the Gates. There is, though, if it loads as one of the first tables, Hyper K888 is on table 4 playing against Paulo Varco. I don't think I recognize that name, but Hyper K has won, I believe, 2 or 3 of the AWOL tournaments, 6-0. So that might be one to look at.
Okay, so I'm out at this table, see if they get started. I
Of
don't
course,
think.
the one table that isn't started yet is the one I
Yeah,
mentioned.
it looks like they're also playing a new player, so maybe we can catch them later
Mm,
in the tournament. Is
yeah.
there any other table that you think might be worth taking a look at?
Yeah, we've got in the early rounds, we've got some time to kind of move around. Yeah, let's look at table 23. That is
Yeah,
AFTU Victor and Bria Danwater.
I
The
was totally eyeing that table. Let's jump into it. Our first match of the night.
and it
So
is Kojo
we have
versus Fanis.
Cojo versus Afanas. So all your experiences in matchup is going to be relevant. Which side do you like in this matchup, Cole?
Um, well, I play Tree Faunus, so I play around a lot of exhaust, and I think that worked really well against this Kojo deck. But I do not know off the top of my head what Victor usually plays. A Faunus style, probably more classic. Um, the other thing is I don't play small step, and most people do. So if this Aphanis is able to at least stay on pace and then get head to head first, likely a win for the Aphanis.
Interesting. And we see already the sabotage being pretty savage, starting to make some card advantage for Afanas.
Yeah,
Let's see if
let
Idan
me.
Water has some
Ooh,
tools to counteract that.
that's a good hit on the sabotage though. The snowman. That's a powerful little card for 2 mana. I am going to share out the stream real quick. Thank you, everyone in the chat who is watching. I don't know if Blue is here. I know Simon's busy, but if Blue is sharing it around everywhere else, if not, I'll get to it over time.
Yeah, and Keilon Guy saying he got the buy. I noticed that, so unfortunate there, but I'm sure we'll get to see you in the next rounds.
Okay, so far, very classic Aonis. The thing that's scary about Cojo and Trial by Frost is this Haven Serengar. That card is so good. I mean, it's basically a unique, but in a common, because all it has to do is get fleeting to draw a card. And I have uniques that's their purpose is drawing a card when they leave.
Yeah, it's definitely a good tool to kind of get back this card disadvantage that the FNS player tried to um, inflict on them with this Tooth Fairy. And so far, like the Bravos player managed to match the FNS player in terms of advancement progression. So let's see how it goes. They're on the strong turn now with Buddha. The problem is playing first means they have to commit some resources. And as the FNS player is able to react, for example, like if they had a off you go there, which they do, they're able to tie it again. And so
Yeah.
essentially, like FNS here can spend the least amount of resources to get the job done because they are playing last.
Yeah, so far it's seeming to be a very classic Aonis versus Trial by Frost Kojo. So we'll see if some of that new Bravos tech helps bridge the gap. Right now, things are just neck and neck. Looks like 5-5 in cards in hand. Let's
Yeah,
see.
FNS with a minor advantage of having an off you go in reserve. However, like off you go is super expensive from reserve, so unless they find a way to bring it back to their hand through maybe, I don't know, a sleight of hand or some kind of uniques, um, it's not really a source that is going to be paying off for them, at least not just yet.
Simon is busy tonight, so now I have to do double duty and also answer people in the Discord. So if
Right.
you see me type in chat, that's why. But if you're listening to the stream and you're playing, BGA does everything. So if your opponent doesn't show up, as long as you click the button and you're there waiting, it will drop them and give you the win. So
And we have 29 tables plus a buy tonight, so 49 players. Although some people, as you said, like didn't show up. I think I see like at least 6 tables where that happens. And Hyper K 888 that we were hoping to watch sounds like he's not going to be playing this round. So we will have to catch them on later rounds.
man, who
Meanwhile, in our game, Cojo trying to put some pressure here with the Mighty Gene. And basically asking FNS, like, can you counteract this? But FNS having a lot of options already helping and being able to go over the Mighty Gene there. Maybe FNS will be happy enough just trading sides again.
Yeah, we haven't seen any spell cycle or pickup, whatever you want to call it, out of Aonis yet. And
Right.
it
I think no
seems,
uniques from either side, right?
yeah, no uniques. It seems like there's been a lack of characters on Aonis's side that, or what they have in hand. They're not showing they're saving for a very particular moment. Being tied as a faunus that probably runs small step is no big deal at all.
Right, it's kind of their whole game plan. Um, Try to tie as long as you can, and then on the last turn, be able to small step.
Pulling up some information here. I am not as big brain with remembering everything that players play, but there's this very lovely site called 39cards.com. I don't know if you've heard of it,
I
but
might have.
you can look up different decks and things. So, hmm, let's see here. Surprisingly enough, I actually don't think we have any recent data of Victor playing Aonis. I show he has mostly been playing Sigismar. So I assume being a competitive player on a premier team, this is a very classic Aonis deck, but maybe we'll see some surprises here.
Yeah, from the look of it, it looks like Victor was usually on Sigismar, and then for this tournament decided to change it up. Meanwhile, like Bria Danwater is big Cojo player, and even placed Sixto in the kickoff for this season. So we have a pretty interesting match already from round one,
Yep. And
and
now
that's
we
kind of speaking to
see,
the quality of those players here. Yeah,
yeah, we see the Icebound Peak, which if that goes off and there are a good amount of characters in Expedition for Bria, that'll be a very big turn. Uh, Still seems that Victor on the Aonis is either playing it safe or just not gotten what you would want to draw yet.
oh, and there we go with the first unique of the match. Red 3 and 3 with season, so counters stay on it. Boosts stay on it when it goes to reserve.
And now it's probably gone.
Yes. And so I wasn't able to read the rest of the text, but I'm assuming it was bringing back spells. Oh, and there it's back.
Yep. I was
So
gonna
it
say
gives
the
the
spring.
expedition, if it had two boosts, you can get a spell back. And you can also discard a permanent, which would have been pretty relevant against this Icebound Peak, but um, Victor Mota not able to put the boost on it just yet, thanks to this intimidation.
Yeah, so
And
it's when it gains fleeting. I feel like there's going to be a milk or something coming out soon from Kojo, and that Icebound Peak is maybe going to trigger this next day.
right, so I think the two paths for this not to happen from Victor Mota's side is, first of all, like, try to sabotage the snowman, which would bring one less fleeting character. Oh, but now the milk is coming down, making any character from hand also have fleeting. It's kind of a huge threat from Bread and Water. And Victor just patiently waiting with their magical training. So let's see. Putting the second
What
counter.
just needs one more boost. What spell is it gonna be?
Yeah, my question is also, is Victor able to wait it out again? Maybe, like, so if they have another off you go from hand, they would be able to get rid of the dragon, but the issue is they need to be playing something now, and it has to cost less than 2 mana. Also, it needs to be better than the characters that Kojo is going to play. So it's kind of a tough ask.
See the humble spindle harvesters for 1 mana and 1 nature stat. Just poking that other lane.
Right, and kind of like I was just saying, good way to do exactly that, wait it out. And Ray Dunwater are going to be firing up this dragon now, which I don't really love. I think if they have another character from hand that could have not gotten pleading, they would have probably played it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Kojo's just straight up going for the win right here, which maybe it pays off. I'm always scared to go that hard against a Faunus, but there's a beauty sleep. I was
Right, and
gonna
now I
say,
can sleep it. Yeah.
yeah,
So I think I would have I would have liked to see another character, but maybe they don't have one. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised what could they have in hand from the Koja side. Because now with the red having 2 boosts, it's going to get back the off you go as well.
there's a fire bunny. That's a very good one to go into a milk lane. Blue says that he dies every time I say nature. I'm pretty sure that we've looked. Actually, I might be wrong. The rules call them subregions, and I don't think they actually state whether they're nature or forest, but maybe I'm remembering incorrectly. But we had this whole back and
Oh,
forth of
and
what they're
actually,
called.
and the huge Bravos Trailblazer are going to seal it up. And Braden
Yeah,
Water
I'm wrong.
taking it with 2-0 win on the last day. Congratulations to them.
Nice. Yeah,
Zero
that
user.
just stats everywhere, not enough spells to support it. And it is forest. I am wrong, but they are called subregions. So the more you know, and I will try to say forest from now on.
Yeah, I heard some rumors, so like don't take my word for it, but they were looking to renaming that to maybe Terrain, which I thought was an interesting tidbit. I'm not sure if that's going to go through or like if it's still being discussed. But
Yeah, yeah, because it's weird to refer to them as sub-regions. Because I'm fairly certain, even in the newest rules, that is what it's called. Like if I control F
uh,
forest, yeah, it's actually called region subtypes. So yeah, I
yeah,
like
region
terrain.
subtypes is what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, and we have another match maybe to look at the end of another match between Gamanight and Fronde. Gamanight also from Team After You from Brazil, and Frond, player that I don't remember by name, but apparently coming from France and playing Digismar.
Gamanight is still on the Navenka. Awesome. Looking in the discard, there's a winter outfits and a Haven Sarengar. So those are kind of new inclusions from what I remember. Oh, the Anubis though. What is this? The Kappa, when you roll one or more dice, you may have target character other than me lose fleeting. So I'm assuming the Cernunos is going bye-bye right now.
Right, and then they might be able to play Sandman and remove fleeting, I guess. Oh
Oh.
no, they're going out of for the Kappa. Okay, interesting.
Hmm.
I
They don't
wonder
have
what.
anything
Yeah.
to remove fleeting from, and maybe nature stat is a little easier for them to get on the companion side.
Mm. I mean, they had Sandman from reserve, right? That they could have brought back, but maybe the thinking is also they almost have lost the companion side, whereas they still have good chances to win on the hero side. The problem is, I think this Kakoba is going to um, put something to sleep, which is going to be a big tempo boost from Frond here.
What's funny is I think I might have played Frond recently too. Uh, did I just
Again, from the
hit like?
Moss Lantern here. That's interesting.
Oh, maybe not. Ooh,
Oh, I guess they're playing around the Twinkle Twinkle being played from reserve again. Although that wouldn't really work. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure what they're playing, Aaron.
yeah. The Kokoba can now put certain Nunos to sleep though. So what what is Gamanight gonna do here? Can't play the Sandman anymore. Could just play Twinkle Twinkle.
Yeah, I think I would try to sleep the Moss and then they put Macaronos to sleep. They advance 1-0. And we're back at the same, basically same spot next turn. Problem if they pass here, they get 2-0'd, which is really bad.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, they
support
can
ability.
also support. Yeah, okay. And now they're going to force. It's kind of weird though, because they can't advance on that side. I wonder if I almost prefer like playing it on the other side. Also, like then Frond doesn't play anything, probably. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
super interesting. Like a lot of combination, even though like there are not a lot of cards, there are so many possible combinations that it gets really interesting and complicated.
yeah.
Also, I haven't
Right.
really considered the hero power from Nevenka, so
Oh yeah, yeah. There is the hero power.
that always throws a
So
wrench into the equation.
yeah, so
Um,
Kokobo can be played to tie up and put Sandman or Cernunos to sleep, but then there is the Nevenka for whichever one's not asleep if needed, but maybe not needed.
yeah.
I don't know.
So the issue is like, so the reason why like I think sleeping the Sandman here is pretty good is that then like you're advancing into forest versus forest, and the Sandman is basically completely irrelevant.
Yeah, true.
Um, that being said, like I don't know, we'll see if that's what they choose to do. They could also, I guess, sleep one of their own things.
My favorite thing right now is unless Frond makes a decision, they're about to hit under 1 minute of clock time left. So I am here on the cast to remind you to watch your time because people get very upset when that's how they lose a game.
How does this work on VG when you hit your time limit? Are you instantly kicked out? What happens?
So if you started the game right on time, you basically have 34 minutes to complete the game. So each player has 15 minutes of a chess clock, and then there's about 4 minutes of overage. So if Gamma Knight has over 7.5 minutes left and sees their opponent only has 30 seconds, they could easily kill down 3.5 minutes in taking some extra thinking time, and the other player's time will run out. And when time of the match ends, the player who had the more time on their clock wins
I
automatically.
see. Okay.
It's a scary side from the Sigismar though. Ooh, and another unique. Oh,
Like a token spawner. If you control a token, you make 2 more tokens. And then from reserve, you create yet another token.
hmm.
Pretty strong for just a single mana. That being said, like we didn't really comment on that, but so Front chose to sleep their own mouse, giving a 1-0 advance to Gamma Knight. And now Gamma Knight only needs to 1-0. And even if Front advances on 2 sides, that doesn't matter. They can't win. And they spent a lot of mana here, so I'm getting really worried for them.
Yeah, that I was gonna
Um,
say that Anubis being played without any characters on Gamma Knight's side is probably pretty telling that the Sigismar does not, yep, passes, does not have anything else in
yeah.
hand.
That said, they do have a lot of stats. It's going to be hard for Nevenka to match this, and playing the Martingale on the side that has the more stats kind of makes me think that Gamanight is basically conceding both lanes uh, this day and being there to fight another day.
Yeah.
That's
So
kind of my read. Like they're probably going to be drawing a card with the magical training and start the next day with a lot more resources. Um, Frond is going to have to discard one reserve, and they're left with pretty expensive card at that. Um, the scribe is going to be making 3 tokens, which is not nothing. But they all have to be. Oh no, one has to be in the other expedition. That's kind of splitting them up a little bit. That said, like this Canonos in reserve is looking very good.
the
So we'll see. Yeah,
Moth Lantern going away is also very good for Gamma Knight because that Anubis is still hanging around, but
right.
now
It would
there's
have created
not.
a token. Yeah, a good point.
One of the other things is Gamma Knight does run, if it's still the same deck as Monday, one single copy of Small Step.
Interesting.
So maybe there was a hope for
Maybe
that
that was
with
the plan all along. No, it doesn't look like
nope,
it.
Tanuki.
They're going to be to sabotage something. I'm guessing the unique is going to go because it looks really strong. But we'll see.
Yeah, this is actually a really hard Tanuki pick because now the Anubis is definitely going to come out, right?
Yeah, it's going to come out and get some values. However, like it's
Mm,
yeah, it would be somewhat dominated by the Canonos. So now Front has to sabotage themselves like again, and so this gives time for Gamma Knight to play the Martingale and be um, somewhat protected from the Anubis. So pretty interesting sequencing there from both players.
Ooh, the teamwork
Oh,
training
teamwork
can
going
only
like
hit the
coming
Martingale
down
though.
first. Yeah, but that's kind of what they wanted to. That's
Yep.
what they would have hit with Anubis anyway. I guess they could have Anubis first, and then be able to hit the Tanuki. Problem is if Gamma Knight has any removal, then the teamwork training is completely dead.
Yeah, that is a very good card though to come out in this moment, the Mage Dancer. It's only gonna need one dice roll to go bigger than the Ortis Recruit. So oof.
Yeah, kind of a tough choice though from Gamma Knight here.
Mm-hmm. I
I
feel like
think.
you get rid of the Tanuki for
Oh,
sure,
because okay, yeah, okay,
especially
yeah, of
now.
course. Well, okay, yeah, probably. Are they able to make it bigger than? Okay, yeah. It depends. Like, do you have another character to play on the right side?
Oh,
Ooh, that
what?
feels kind of bad. Well, I guess
No.
they can replay it or Twinkle, but that's and then they can spend 1 mana. Well, sacrifice the Twinkle Twinkle and like clutch the.
Yeah, this is going to arena from
That's
what
really
I can tell
interesting.
here.
And no one is going to have any cards left. That's super interesting.
This is the fun of Nevenka.
Yeah, and pretty interesting that they put it on the companion side. They want to get the Winter Close back in reserve to have a free after you next turn, which I kind of like.
Yeah, the Mage Dancer, if it did not roll a 1, could have gotten up to 3/3/3, which I think is what Frond
Yeah,
was.
and then Sleep would have on it, right?
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think Frond was
kind of
betting on that.
unfortunate, yeah, but You win some die roll, you lose some die roll.
Gamanight in the chat says misplay. I woke up 3 minutes before the match. Ooh, that Baba Yaga though is nice in this moment.
Yeah, looking pretty good.
Yep, Frond is about to time out. You'll hear me say it so many more times probably. So if I go out of the game, I can actually probably tell how long ago it started. So the game started 29 minutes ago. So
Right.
full time is technically in a minute. But if they took a little bit longer to start the game, the round could have started earlier and they might be behind, which is
Mm.
something you have to consider.
They are the last match playing as well.
There's so many stats out here for Sigismar, though. I am very interested in the fact that I've seen a lot more Siggies playing Mobile Armory. It is just a good card, especially at common. Um, but I'm wondering if it's really just an inclusion because it's just a one mana card in Siggy. Because
Yeah, I
in
think so.
Ghoul Ring it makes sense straight up. So
Yeah, and so saying good luck for the roll. So they don't have any cards left, and basically any roll except one or six is winning, which they do get a 5, so able to clutch the win there.
whew, wow. By 1 point in mountain and 1 point
One die
in
roll.
water. Damn. That was a good one.
That was a pretty tight game. Yeah, so about this mobile armory, I was just watching just before the stream a deck tech from the French player who won the sorry, I don't remember what was the name of the tournament, but the big 200 player tournaments in Raw last weekend. And they were saying that like the last spot is between Mobile Armory and Paper Herald, and they opted for Paper Herald because they like to have the Paper Herald be able to go back to reserve every time and be able to play it again as an after you. And they had some problems with Mobile Armory sometimes staying in play and being annoying for this reason. Even though like on paper, Paper Herald is a worse card because it's only 001. Um, so yeah, it's interesting, but it's definitely like one of the probably worst card in the Sigismara deck. It's just that like they have some common spots left to fill, and that's definitely an okay card, okay one drop to be playing.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense going with the Paper Herald over the Mobile Armory because of that exact situation. In Ghoul Ring, I run the rare because the rare removes Defender,
That's
and
also what I was gonna say. Yeah, in Gorong, like you absolutely want to play the rare,
yep,
and so
and you
that's
can
kind of like a
surprise too.
locked rare slot. Yeah. All right, so
Um,
I'm gonna use my executive privileges here to go into the next match, which is going to be Diogenes versus Freeloader. Uh, and I want to see this, and it turns out to be a Cojo mirror.
ooh,
Hope that's okay with you, Cole. But
of
yeah, two
course.
players who are like some regular players from AWOL, and so it would be a pretty exciting match.
Freeloader is always interesting to watch. And I see a tiny Jin from Dimogenes. And I love Tiny Jin. That is my favorite card. I think we could see a lot of surprises from Freeloader here on this Kojo. it looks like the last that we have data on of them playing Cojo was earlier in the month. And knowing Freeloader, I would not be surprised if this deck is a lot different than it was back then.
Yeah, and we
Um,
already see Eat Me Energy Bar as one of a spicy attack from Kojo being comboed with physical training. Wow, that's super interesting. So they conceded a 2-0 last turn, and they are clawing it back today. Um, yeah, pretty spicy tech there.
ki-
Definitely pretty different from the Kojo we were watching just last round.
yeah, it made me realize just now that most of what we've seen the energy bar used for recently is for making big or anchored or eternal characters on both sides, or the very not so fun Sakabaru double move back. But if you think about it, a 3 mana just thing you chuck in your expedition and it carries your stats to both sides, it's actually really good. And I'm wondering if that's kind of what Freeloader is doing here is just,
Yeah. So not being able to play another character on the same expedition is kind of a big downside.
yeah.
Uh, you have to plan around it is the main thing. So kind of like um, unintuitively, you want to be playing uh, the bar on the side where on the opposite side of where you want to put the most stats because you're gonna put one character where the bar is and then the rest of your characters on the other side. Obviously, like the big character on the bar side is going to count for both. So it's kind of hard to play. I'm guessing like you have to think about your plays well in advance.
Mana eruption on the red.
That's
At,
super aggressive. Very surprising.
yeah, at this low of mana too, but um maybe looking for a double move again.
I think that the mana like they don't really care that much about because they have Mighty Gene that's going to be probably going to go into mana and getting the disadvantage back. But where I'm more concerned is like they only have Buddha on the companion side, and with 4 mana, I would expect pretty much anything from Freeloader is going to be able to beat that. And so I don't know. I'm a bit surprised to see them do that. That being said, like maybe they didn't have other plays. Um, they only have 3 cards in hand after all. Oh, and maybe like Freeloader is happy to concede that again and just set up an energy bar for next turn. Also, Freeloader is getting into this Sakarabo range that you were just talking about. Next turn with 7 mana, they might be able to just boink both of Diogenes expeditions back. Let's see.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what a good 1 mana drop in Bravos is, and I think right now it's the Fire Rabbit.
And that
Um
wouldn't have been enough to go over the Buddha. My point was more so like they had 4 mana when Diogenes made that play. So there could have been a lot of things that would. I was gonna say punish them there. I guess they're not that punished. Like they would just trade, but
yeah, but as Blue mentions in the chat, the bar is on the Buddha side, so it's basically doubling Buddha ahead of time. And
interesting.
then
Which sounds not very good.
this is a unique Tooth Fairy. When I leave the expedition zone, sabotage, and then from hand, I gain 1 boost. Unfortunately, it was played from reserve, so it's fleeting, and there's no mana left from Freeloader to remove that fleeting. It did get a boost from Haven, though.
Sorry, why would they want to remove fleeting?
Because whenever it leaves the expedition zone,
Oh,
it
I see. So you're saying
sabotages.
it's not going to sabotage. Okay.
It's gonna do it once, but if they could
Oh, it's
cycle
leave
it
the
more,
expeditions and not go to reserve.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, sure. So they could have repeatedly sabotaged stuff. Okay, yeah. So going to trade here on their Buddha turns, not so great for Freeloader. They are back, kind of back against the wall there. Not the actual wall, but pretty close to it. They're one step away from the wall, I guess, is one way to say that. And we have bastions on sides. I kind of like that play though. Like it kind of makes sense to have the Buddha and the way to make a boost on it, but turns out Diogenes had the other intimidation there to punish them for it.
Yeah, you could say that Freeloader is one step closer to the edge, and he's about to break.
Yeah, I could say that.
Another thing
Is
that
it?
I like, it's a Linkin Park
Yeah.
lyric.
No, I got that.
uh, Another thing I like with Buddha and these expedition permanents is having milk in the area where in the companion zone, because then Buddha gets fleeting, but it gets a boost, and Buddha does not care if Buddha has fleeting. So
Right. Yeah, lots of interesting interaction with the gears from Bravos.
interesting that it seems currently that Diogenes is going to be stacking on the companion side. I was gonna say, are they toying with each other right now? But
So I think it's actually interesting. So they know that the companion sign is going to be weaker from Freeloader because they can only play one character there, or if they play another character, then it's not going to be gigantic. So I kind of
mm,
like the reasoning there.
that is one thing I forget very often with the energy bars. If and I have done it before in a game where I've accidentally played two with the bar, and I was
Mhm.
just like, "Oh,
Oh,
whoops."
oops.
Yep. So no,
Yeah,
that is good call out.
and I think especially because Diogenes here is like very happy to trade, right? They are two steps ahead, so
Yep. And that Vanguard comes out, removes fleeting from the tracer. It's going to keep it around, which makes it so that is not too behind on card advantage overall. And this mighty, well, now it's kind of a hard decision with the mighty Jin because it's either do you draw a card or do you get rid of the card that you just removed fleeting from, or do you get rid of the unique because you don't want the from reserve ability? Let's see. Yep. Ghost mana.
yeah.
So
Mm.
Freeloader has card advantage going in, but is very far away.
And another match I was watching on the side was Hyper K888 against Claudius. Uh, maybe we can catch the replay after this game. 'Cause, that's a pretty interesting match, I think. Deja versus Sigismar. And Claudius is probably one of the better Sigismar player out there.
Yeah, I refreshed and it looks like Hyper did take down Claudius.
Wow, giving us all the spoilers, Cole.
Yep. Is Hyper playing the same? Yep, Tasia and Naru. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see how things go forward.
Yeah, Hyper K has had like very good result with this Deja. Uh, so someone we can for sure follow. All right, and how is this game developing? So now Freeloader's back is against the actual wall, um, and they can't concede either side. But this tracer already putting a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah,
Um,
so as of now, 9 players have dropped out. So I was just counting that real quick.
so we have what, 50 players left?
50. Yep. So you may discard one of your mana orbs. If you do, characters you control gain 1 boost for 3 mana. I'm
Yeah,
assuming that's
just
going to happen.
for sure. Yeah, it's going to. So it's getting played. It will also get the boost from Haven or Haven. So yeah, quite a lot of stats on either side, and crucially, uh, beating the hero side by 1 means Freeloader has to play something on that side.
Ooh, Chiron.
Oh, but
Chiron is a
Karen being
nice
good,
one, but
but I don't think it's going to be good enough because yeah, it does tie on the hero side, but the companion side is way behind. And so Diogenes is going to be taking up this mirror.
yep. And the GGs come out in chat. It's very, very interesting. I'd love to see how the rest of those decks play out. Hopefully, both players continue throughout the tournament. If you do not compete very often, but you like to watch, very often players, if they drop around, will withdraw from the tournament because they know that they can no longer go undefeated or get first or second place. But if you have not yet hit top 16 for the season, it's always good to hang around and secure one of those so you can get an invite to the invitational.
All right. So let's see what other matches we have going. Trying to pick a match that is not as progressed as the others. And 2 players that I'm not familiar with, maybe we can have a look at them. Impuissant and Pedroguinha from the USA and Brazil.
Yeah, I do not know Pedro, but Impuissant is around in the discords here and there. I do realize that they have an American flag, but that is a very French name.
It is for sure. um, might be another, yeah, another French person living in the United States, or maybe it's just a cover. All right, and so we have Pedroguinha on Lindiwe and Impuissant on Fen. So interesting match, not something we see very often. Like some of the, I wouldn't say less play heroes because like it's definitely, I would say like maybe tier 2 in terms of popularity. Um, the more popular Izmir hero definitely being Afanas, obviously. And then Fen being one of the top heroes, but probably not like, probably one step behind Afanas, Sigismar, and possibly Teja is also one of the more popular ones. But Fanny is pretty close there, so some heroes that yeah we see from time to time. And Lindaway got a lot of new cards from Trial Frost, so that should be something that you are looking for, Cole.
Yeah, I haven't gone back to my Lindaway deck yet. There's just so much. I've made it through a Ghoul deck. I have 3 Tasia decks, of course. I have an Aonis deck. Working on a second Aonis deck. I should give Lindaway some love. What would scare me about this matchup is from knowing Impuissant, I am pretty sure they play Festival very often. So even though you see Pedro here ahead, that can change at a moment's notice. I don't know if they're playing Festival tonight, but I know that we've talked about them playing festival before.
Yeah, it's interesting. Um, I don't know if I like Lindy way into festival matchup. I think typically like they should have some tools, but here we're seeing like them falling quite a bit in terms of um, mana or like I don't know how you say that, like priority. Basically, like they spent a lot of mana already, and um, Impuissant has a lot of leeway, but they only have two cards in hand, and it would have to be yeah. I don't know what it would have to be for them
Yeah.
to win this. Um, yeah, and Pedroguinha also has a Baba Isba to gain some tempo and wait it out a little bit before committing more to the board. Interestingly, they
Well,
chose not. Oh yeah, they have them already. Sorry. Um, so yeah, it's basically free after you, right? Because they sacrificed 2 power to gain 2 power.
oh yeah, yeah, one of the moths. Yep. And there's the festival. I was gonna say, looking through their discard, they definitely have a lot of festival cards, but I had not seen a festival specifically yet, and now we see it drop. Also, hello to the tabletop tinker. Um, so what does this do at dusk? You discard a permanent. Okay, so that Ispa is going away because there's 2 mana left from the Fen here. And you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, up to one target character gains a sleep. So they slept the Ma there,
Yeah.
which is a dangerous choice, but
Yeah, but they are pretty far behind. I don't think they can really afford
yeah.
to keep it on the table. It's interesting. They could also choose to go after the Moth Lantern with the Pamola, so we'll see what happens there.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
Oh, and then Puissant saying GG in the chat. So I don't know if they expect Pedroguinha to have the small step giant leap, or if they know that they are also pretty far behind and think it's too hard to recover from this,
Yeah, yeah.
which
I
I
was gonna
think
say,
both are
did
like
they
possibilities.
miscount or?
I think both definitely being, yeah, possibilities.
I mean, because this is a rare festival, which means it can satisfy one of the conditions just from play. That freaking resupply too of the Silent Night is perfect. And
Well, no, it's actually kind of terrible because they don't have 3 characters to play, and so they would never be able to win
oh,
with the
true,
festival.
true.
Uh, and like they could have given a sleep with this, they would have fleeting
Hmm.
naturally. This could have given a card. So if this had been a character, then it's maybe a word where that could have worked. Um,
Yeah, I was just counting the different conditions and did not even
yeah,
think
so that's
about
yeah,
characters.
that's the first thing like you have to account for.
Yeah. And in the chat, Pedro states, I don't have small. Also,
Right.
you say names, even Brazilian names, way better than I do. So I'll just let you say all the names.
I don't know, but I'm trying. I'm giving it my best try. I don't know if it's good enough. We'll see. All right, so they are like stacking up everything on the companion side, trying to make that work, and I think it probably will because Puissant doesn't have any cards in hand. They can't make the Aura ability here work. Oh, I guess they could
Hmm.
still play Lyra Festival, and then sleep the Mo. That would be kind of like the last ditch effort, but even that I don't think is going to work because Pedroguinha is advancing on Mountain and Pamola has 0 on Mountain, so even
Yep.
that wouldn't be enough. I think this one's in the bag, as we say.
Another Moth Lantern.
All right, maybe we're now in the competition of the biggest Mo that has ever been created.
Yeah, where the heck is Keilon Guy? Keilon Guy also was playing some Lindaway. Why have we forsaken our queen?
So he was playing against Gamanight this round, and we were just watching a game from Gamanight. But we might have a chance to catch them next round. And looks like Keilon is on FNS tonight.
Yeah, we've been working on a couple different Aphonises, so maybe I don't know if it's Tundra or just classic. Um, Keelan Guy is a moth enthusiast, but is also a try-hard winner.
I
So
yeah. I'd love to see yeah, Mothranton enthusiasts. There are a couple of them in my local game store, and it's always fun to play against that deck in my opinion.
yeah,
All right, so I think that was oh no, we have one more match. Let's see.
yeah. I'm just scrolling through
They
here,
are
and
pretty close,
also,
yeah. Yeah, it looks like
oh,
this match is
ended.
finishing as well.
Yep,
So we're not going to
living
jump into
plane.
it. It was Cojo versus Sigismar, if I got the glimpse correctly. And Cojo won. Um, oh, it was Bazira against Sigismar. Okay.
Hmm.
And Bazira, yeah, Bazira did win this one. So my bravos friends taking on the good fight against all these bad guys.
Yes.
All right. So what do we have for this round? I'm gonna let you pick the game. Cole, what do you
Yeah,
want to see?
there's some good ones that could be picked for round three. The problem being that some of them that I would like to jump into are not loading yet. So we were just picking on Keelan Guy, and we've seen a little bit of demo play. So table 8, we can see the Spain. I think that's Spain, right? Yep, Spain versus Switzerland showdown. Afonis versus Cojo.
Yeah, so
Um,
that's a matchup we've already seen. I wonder if we could. So we did see this one in round one, right? Or am I hallucinating? I'm already
uh,
forgetting about.
we haven't seen Keelan Guy yet, but we
Okay,
have
so you wanna
seen.
go into that game?
Yeah, let's see if we
Okay,
can see the rest of
let's jump into it.
how demos uh, Kojo deck differs from
All right,
what
so
we
yeah,
we saw.
jumping into it. And we already missed the day one, so those guys like go super fast. Let's see if I can replay the last moves. No, I can't. Okay. Um, so anyway, looks like it was a 2-on-1 advance for Kojo on the back of being first player. And now Afanas is putting up the mouse. I wonder what they did to eat a mouse on turn one.
Ooh, meditation training on a moth. That is interesting.
Oh, they had Arcola plus Tiny Gin, right? Because they have no, yeah, that's what I'm guessing. I don't know if you can look at the replay, but I wonder how that first turn went. But I'm guessing Afanas played the mouse, and then Diogenes played um, Milk and the one drop,
Yeah,
judging by the result. I wonder if
since
it's
I
Tiny Gin
am
or a rabbit.
yeah, I'm not the one streaming, so I can scroll down without messing anything up. So let's see. So Buddha was out there. The milk was played into the hero expedition. Keelan Guy played the moth, gave the moth a boost, and it all just scrolled back up on me. That was cool. Let's see. Yeah, I think it was just because it's the rare milk, I believe. Wait,
Right.
that's his hero. Anyways, it's scrolling too fast. But as
That's all
blue,
right. So I
yeah,
played some kind of one drop.
yeah, as blue states, it is the rare milk, not
Yeah.
expired. Is that what we're calling common now?
Expired milk.
Yeah, the chunky lemon milk.
All right. And so Kojo still like one step ahead in this situation and putting a lot of pressure on the FNS now. And FNS not really going to be trying to match that. Oh, I guess they could 2-on-1 here if they had the one cost. But then they would have to, yeah, and they do, okay. So they're going to be coming back here, which is really, really important for them. Kind of losing a couple cards in the process, but the magical training replacing themselves mean like you're not really bummed about sending them to discard after one play. Obviously, you would rather like try to get them back into your hand, but not the end of the world. You'd much rather uh, tie it up in terms of expeditions.
I hear some crazy static in the world. The world is ending. Okay, it was milk to tiny gin. Play turn one.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
And then they chose not to mana, which is super interesting.
Yeah, so now they're tied basically, and one side for each of them is on a single sub-region. And really, if you're playing a Faunus, I feel this is kind of right where you want to be with cards. You have a slight card advantage. You are down in mana technically, but Aonis plays a lot of low cards, and small step, giant leap is just right there if you get close enough.
Right. And both players kind of setting up in their own ways. Um, Afanas with the anchored mushroom, Kojo with the pumped up milk, the milk with some additional some protein shake. Okay, and then like Afanas has to commit to one side of the board. Ooh, interesting. And it's very okay. Going to put one card in reserve to sabotage the last magical training, forcing Keilon Guy to commit more to the board.
Oh gosh, do you see the
Oh,
rest
and
of
they
that
have the
tooth
third
fairy?
magical training. No, so what does it do? Oh, from reserve it has the Haven ability. Well, not
Well,
from reserve, but it has the Haven ability. Okay, so that's Chiron is going to be a 2/2 and giving one boost to something.
yeah, this tooth fairy having your characters other than me have from reserve, I gain one
One boost.
boost.
Yeah, so they're
That
basically
is,
the Haven. Yeah.
yeah, that is a very good card. So Kyron can get 3 boosts here, 4 if he boosts himself in the milk segment.
Yeah. So the core part is like that's not enough to win the hero side. And they can't even really tie up on forest. It's honestly kind of a waste, unfortunately, like the use fairy ability, I think, right? Or like they can win on the hero side, but then they're still conceding on the companion side to a 1/1/1, which
Yep.
does feel pretty bad.
That's probably what they're thinking
Right.
about now.
Yeah. Yeah, super tough choice from Diogenes here. Okay, and they choose to go for the hero side.
Yeah, this also keeps them safe from a boost
Ooh,
from a
helping
faunus,
hand.
but not from a helping
Helping
hand.
hand, exactly, yeah. Helping hand going to be like, yeah, 2 on the euro for
Ooh,
um for FNS. Worth noting that had they played the Chiron on the other side, they would have. Oh, they would have beat the helping hand thanks to the alcohol on the milk.
Yep.
But possibly FNS just doesn't play anything and accepts the trade. So
Yep.
yeah, tough call.
Let's see if Keilon Guy starts typing GG in the chat right here. He is usually very courteous to tell his opponent to accept their fate.
Well, keep in mind here, Cojo can technically have Sakara Brew. So even if you have small step, it's not necessarily like game over.
Ooh, yeah, true.
No, not,
But
but they don't.
no dice.
So okay.
Too risky for the top players. Let's see. Drum roll. This is the moment.
Nope,
Oh, no small
no,
step.
a small step and sabotage on this unique, which would have removed fleeting from the Tooth Fairy, and then you can discard one of your mana orbs from reserve to. Oh no, it would have given removing fleeting from hand. So yeah, from reserve it would have been a charge. Okay, interesting. Okay, and so FNS here like playing on the fact that they are very flexible and can choose to boost whatever side is most profitable to them, putting a little bit of pressure on the Cojo player to keep committing to the companion side.
Yeah, that's gonna be a very big bunny coming in right here, though.
Right, but so I think FNS is mostly on off you go now. Um, don't know if I don't think Baba Yaga does it. Helping hand, yeah, that does it because you can replay it.
There's still also 2
And
mana left
Kojo,
there, and
yeah,
off
but
you go.
right, yeah, but that, yeah, they don't even need it. They can just
Nope.
replay
Yep.
and go to 888s. So that's game. All right,
Kojo
so
had nothing in hand.
yeah, yeah, they
Oh.
knew it all.
All right.
All right, so
You're in charge. I gotta go grab some more water. So
sounds good.
you're at the wheel, and there are some good games going on here. So
Right,
I'll see what you pick when I get back.
sounds good. All right, so we're actually going to be going into a little bit down below in the rankings, but I want to see this game between Kaifu and Haidian. Kaifu, a player from Quebec, very, very nice player. Oh, and they're both on Kojo, interesting. Um, but looks like they have slightly different versions. Kaifu playing some anchored, which is not something we usually see in Kojo. And Idan with the Foundry Axiom Bastion, a card that we haven't seen in quite a while, making its comeback to work with things like Skadi or the Spy. So usually decks that play Foundry are it's kind of their key card. I don't know if they have any, so no uniques there, but sometimes they have some very good uniques that have very strong reserve abilities. Kaifu with a double haven, but not a lot of resources in hand. This Parvati is going to be able to be pretty big and also anchor itself. Interestingly, being played on the hero side there because it blocks the forest from Idan. Makes sense that it was played first, obviously, because Skadi would have prevented it from being played. And there you go, like you see the kind of really strong uniques. That combo with Foundry. This one from reserve, I think, discards a character and also can get the character back to hand. So they're going to be sending it back to hand. Um, oh, so they're just playing it as an after you. Okay, that's interesting. Avenging are being played, going to force one of those cards from Idan to be played. And so Idan seems to have like very strong interaction in hand with this unique that they can replay. But Kaifu does have one region or one expedition advance, and so even if she has a little bit less resources, I think this is still a pretty close game.
All right. Good choice. We're on are you still on the Kaifu game?
Yes, so we're looking at Kaifu versus Idehan. And they have,
Ooh.
so it's a Kojo mirror, but they have pretty interesting lists. Skyfu playing some anchors, and Hidean having the Foundry. And they have a really strong unique in their hand that they played and bounced back to their hand. I think it discards or sends to reserve a character who's got 3 or less, and then sends a character to hand who's got 5 or less. And so they chose to bring their own unique back to their hand, just kind of as an after you last turn. But now they have the pressure of removing 2 things from the board on Kaifu's side, which could be devastating. So we'll
Mm.
see what they end up doing here.
Yeah, this is a very interesting Kojo mirror already, just sitting down with this. Kaifu is further along, one space ahead technically, but 2 havens out. And let's see. This is coming out.
Yeah, so discard a character with cost 3 or less, sends a character with cost 5 or less to on his hand. Interesting that they chose to keep bouncing this. So they have basically a repeatable off you go that they can fire
Yeah.
on at will. And they're going to try to fully exhaust Kaifu's resources. Um, the issue is Kaifu is still one ahead.
Yep. That is a very interesting tech though. I like that.
Yeah.
Um let's see. So yeah, Idhan just became the first player, so they're going to have the Kojo or the Buddha. This Scotty does not have anything to target, and for now, that unique doesn't have anything to target. But
Mm. But Tomo goes in being like a wall of stat here.
yep.
I really like this card. So I'm happy to see it being played here. It's interesting too because it doesn't have too much synergy with Foundry, but I guess that Idean maybe has some ramp in the deck.
Oh, cats in out, in out. I got water and I also got iced coffee, so
Ooh,
even better. And
that's nice.
our favorite pink-haired shovel-wielding trailblazer. This is yeah, this is a lot of stats, but I don't know. Three mana to play the energy bar, but this last card in hand would have to be pretty good for it to do anything good for
Mm.
Kaifu.
Yeah, I think the writing's on the wall on this one. Because yeah, guys, don't think it's gonna be enough. Because we know also that the haven't what's that called? Like this unique that Idan has on the last turn, like they can actually just to
Oh yeah, that is still in hand, so they can
yeah.
basically just. That's a very interesting but also unfortunate ending.
Yeah, pretty strong, like unique combination. And I dig that.
Yeah,
Very
Kaifu with the
strong, but at the
GG
yeah,
and a smile.
yeah,
Very
and
fun person to play against. So always.
very cautious as always.
Oh, sadly, I drew three non-characters. Hello, and
Yeah,
I'm sorry. The light bright is in progress. I don't know why Logi. I don't know why Loki told me this set symbol is easier. It is definitely much harder, especially to make on a light bright. So I started it today, but was very busy at work.
all right, and maybe going to table 2 now, which is one of the last tables still playing.
All right. While you
We
load
have
into that, there is very interesting occurrences here in Who's Lost and Withdrawn. West Will has already dropped. We saw Claudius drop. Um, yeah, we might see a very interesting top 16 here today.
yeah, maybe not too surprising from Claudius if they lost. It's probably pretty late for them, so
Yep.
um, yeah, it looks like they were 1 and 2, so no chance to top 8. Oh,
All
no,
right.
they
So
were
this
sorry, they only played
is
2, okay. Just 1 okay, anyways.
Valenson. Um,
Valencent versus Fused. Kinda surprising, like, both players tagged as French. It's currently 2:15 AM in France, and those players are still battling, still going at it. I was in France a couple of, weeks ago, uh, and I was really surprised, like, the appeal for the game there is pretty unreal. Um, my Paris had, like, 40 people, uh, and they were doing, like, multiple that day, and then I wanted to go into a weekly, like, standard event, and I had to, pre-register for it because, like, the 32 player tournament was capped, and you had to make sure that you registered in advance to get a spot, which was pretty crazy, but really cool community. Shout out to all the people from Toulouse there. Um, really, really nice people. Really fun to play alongside them.
yeah, that is great to see. When you're in the United States, it's very easy for people to get a little concerned, I guess, or down about the adoption of the game and worry about it. But if France can carry France, Italy, Spain, places like that can carry the game, then it'll be just fine. But
Yeah, I mean, I think
Iggy,
the game is still pretty young and it has time to grow in the United States.
yep.
One of the things is that still not having like print on demand, I think is a big issue. What's going on in this game? Oh, it looks like Aonis is winning. Okay, from the beauty sleep. I was seeing Valencent say GG when they were way ahead, but
Yeah, yeah.
they
I
realized what was
wonder.
coming a bit
Yeah,
before I did. All
yeah.
right, so yeah, Aonis taking it. Aonis being like super strong on the end game, so no real surprise there.
Yeah. When I was looking while this was loading up, I was seeing who from Altered Aces has to carry the dream of this tournament. And now it looks like it is they have all lost. I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like we have very few undefeated players for only being in round three. There's only five undefeated players currently.
Yeah, I mean we have a
Uh,
little bit less players than there is on Mondays.
true, true.
But yeah, no, I think that's more or less expected. We might have a couple of matches also still ongoing that are going to put more players into the 3-0 bracket. Let me double check what I'm just saying here.
Yeah, so
Uh,
Pedro, I think, has potential to go into undefeated, and then
Meister as well. So this match is going to be one of them is going to be 3-0, and then Daguerreon, same thing.
mm,
Oh, Daguerreon has
nice.
finished, maybe? Hold on.
Gotta
No, okay.
refresh.
So Pedroguinha is the 3-0 player. So there are 6 of them now, and going to be a 7th in a minute.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we have round 4 starting. So yeah, maybe we can have a quick recap at the current standings. We have 7 players at 3-0. Used after you Gamanight, Pedroguinha, Kaiu, Alphabet Soup, Hyper K 888, and Marks. And then we have a bunch of players down to the 28th place at 2-0. So those players can all like realistically still go 5-1. From the 7 players, yeah, at 3-0. I think we can expect one of them to end up at 6-0 after the next 3 rounds. So I think we're pretty on par with what we should expect from about 55 players.
Yeah, I forget since we're late in European times, there is about half or a little more than half of the players in the Wednesday compared to Monday. So I got used to seeing like 10 undefeated people
Right.
right now.
Because I think on Monday, like they usually end up with 2 players at 6-0.
Yep.
Ideally, I think we should make a 7th round, but it's probably a bit too long for most players.
Yep.
Um,
Where are we going?
I was going to go to Hyper K 888 against Mark. Um, I think 2 players we haven't seen so far, and one of them being Teja. Should be pretty interesting. I don't think we've seen Teja yet. So
Yeah, this is the reigning Tasia champ, and they just have a very classic Beyond the Gates Tasia deck, unless they have changed something, which I'm guessing they haven't. And to answer Blue's question, I've seen the Monolith in Siggy for a long time. I think it makes sense, but does it make sense further into Trial by Frost now?
I know Claudius
I
was
don't
still
know.
playing it. Um, Which I don't know. I mean, personally, I don't necessarily really understand it, but I'm also not a really smart player and definitely not on the caliber that this might be. So I will definitely defer to him for this. I know the winner of the tournament in Rouen wasn't playing them. He was playing the uh, Grand Endeavor instead.
Hmm.
And they were actually talking about how that's for them it's a tech against Afanas. Because against Afanas, if you manage to slam a Grand Endeavor, there's basically nothing they can do. And you can keep trading and you're guaranteed to win if you have like 2 or 3 expeditions advance also, which sometimes will happen against Afanas. Afanas not being the strongest in the early game. Uh, Same, it's basically game over because like they can't ever come back from you just advancing guaranteed every turn. And crucially, like the trigger from Grand Endeavor comes before Small Step Giant Leap. So it's kind of like beating them at their own game in a way.
Yep.
So that's interesting. That was kind of the tech. But yeah, I know Claudius has been playing Monolith for some time now. And yeah, I don't know, apparently he's liking it.
Yeah, the I've also ran into it a time or two in arena where they will play the Grand Endeavor as a form of small step where they'll just save it for the very last minute and then throw it down. And when it comes around to noon, you literally can't do anything. They just
Mhm.
advance and win. So,
Yeah. Well, the issue being like they give you a full turn to handle them, right? But they're probably hoping that they are already far in advance, far enough in advance that it doesn't matter.
yeah. This
Yeah,
this
interesting.
opening from Tasia though was so perfect. Get a spindle harvesters anchored and get the Chiron down. I love that. That is one of the
It's like you
best
drew it up.
openings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
And
feels like you're deck building, and you're saying, "Oh, that's a really good turn one," and here you go.
yep. Also, not
Uh,
letting Siggy do a double move is always great.
for sure. Oh, and now they're all also like one owing Igismar, so taking some advantage here. Pretty even on cards. Deja going to get one extra card in reserve from this aloe vera. And I like their position right now. Let's see what they how they manage to convert now.
Yeah, the so I don't know what uniques Hyper has, and while I could look it up, maybe we'll just wait and see how they drop. But I know the rest of their deck is just very classically beyond the gates Tasia tech. And I've played Chiron for a long time, and I think a lot of players didn't really enjoy him as much, but now you're seeing it here at work from a pro, just playing rare Chiron.
All right, so yeah, very original, unique from Marx. Just putting out a bunch of tokens. Uh, Interestingly, like this will work well with the Ordiscade because it required having 4 characters and the Ordiscade being like the 2 characters that they were missing. So now they're able to put like a bunch of stat on the board. Interestingly enough, Deja may be able to still trade on this turn where they played one of the strong uniques. So yeah, Deja not falling behind, I think is all they could ask on that turn.
Yeah, as long as I'm not allowing Siggy to double move, and even if I am one ahead as Tasia, I am happy. The only thing that would scare me in this matchup now is that Grand Endeavor we were talking about. Because if they play it at just the right moment, where they do it at the end of their turn, or just time it right after I've used removal or something, it's very scary
Yeah.
because removal. Oh, there's some
Oh
removal.
yeah. Yeah, I mean also interesting. Like I think as Deja, as long as you are able to anchor some characters, I mean, here you basically guarantee that Sigismund cannot play this Grand Endeavor we were talking about because, like, they are too far behind. Like, there's just no way for them
Hmm.
to play this. They would almost instantly lose. Um, so yeah, no, I wouldn't be too worried there. I think I would actually say that if Marx is playing Grand Endeavors in their list, like, it's pretty guaranteed that it's going to mana right now because, like, I don't think it's going to be playable in even in the next couple turns.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely
what I would be
looking
more
good.
worried about right now is like a teamwork training or something like to get rid of those anchored card advantage engines.
Yeah, especially because you can hit these spindles super easily. Or if you play that Ortis Cadets, then you can hit basically anyone on the
Yeah.
board the next turn.
Yeah, and you were talking about uniques. I was just looking up hypercase unique. They seem to be pretty tame. Like we have seen a lot of Teja player playing super strong anchoring Unix that whenever you play a character or whenever you gain a boost or like those kind of effects, you get to anchor something. Hyper K hasn't been playing this at all. Like he has much more tame, I would say, Unix, and still putting up really, really good results. So I think it just speaks to their talent as a Teja player.
Yeah,
But they also have like, yeah, maybe an interesting list, as you said. Like they do play rare Chirons, which I think haven't been that popular.
yeah. So let's see. I have I think one total listing on 39 cards. Let me see if I can find it and see if it has Chiron in the list. It does. Look at that. My Tasia deck back from November has 3 Chirons in it.
So would you say
Um
that you were playing Chiron before it was cool?
oh yeah, for sure. I've totally been playing it before it was cool.
Right.
Blue asks about Lost in the Woods. So I've always had a hard time with Mana Reaping because I
Yeah.
feel like it's so easy to get behind as Muna, and it's really hard to give my opponent an advantage while also going down. But it is it is used by a lot of really good Tasia players, and it does work really well. But I switched Cloth Cocoon out for Lost in the Woods. So maybe Lost in the Woods and Mana Reaping might be a
And
new good double.
while we were talking about deck building, pretty interesting turn happened here. Like Mark put out a bunch of tokens with their broken unique and or Discade, and then charged, which I think otherwise would be an extremely strong turn. But just due to the fact that Mark had a lot of anchored setup and with the Skyron like able to be pretty flexible. They're again being able to trade here, which I think if you asked me, if you just told me like what Marx has been playing, and I would have told you like it would have been a really tough ask for Hyperkey not to fall behind there. So I think they managed to basically fully dodge the Amelia here out there.
Yep. And just once again, that Tasia just staying one advance ahead, counting on bolstering different anchored characters is going to look very good.
Yeah, pretty huge, and also still keeping the card advantage train rolling because this Spindle Harvester being the rare, like is able to basically act as a mini aloe vera or like cheaper aloe vera, I guess. 'Cause it even has better stats technically.
Yep. And with the um Chiron, another thing I will say is a lot of people went for Ogun instead. They're both out of faction, so they're both going to be rare. But I've always preferred Chiron because one, he's not restricted to only plants, and two, he can boost himself if he has to. So I love seeing it, and having the aloe and the spindle plus resupplying that caregiver. Oh, this is I was gonna say it's got to be the caregiver to get rid of that anchor, right? But still,
They can't afford to have the spindle being in card again.
yep,
But
still
no,
the
they need.
Chiron there.
I mean, they need something to deal with the aloe vera here. Like they are still way behind. They only have Sigismund
Hmm.
only has one card in hand. Like I think they're in a really dicey spot right now.
Yep. Hello,
Um,
Drox.
Also, Blue, you were talking about Lost in the Woods. Interesting to note that, yeah, Hyperk has only been playing Beyond the Gate card so far. This ties into what we were talking about earlier in the intro of this stream that Brazil apparently has really hard time getting access to the new cards. And so possibly like they just don't have access to the card yet, which is a bit of a shame, but might explain why they are not playing why they are playing Mana Reaping instead right now.
Yeah. A bit of a shame in some regard, but maybe also not a shame because they are
Well,
just
yeah,
so clear.
it shows
Like,
that they are still able to
yeah.
take it on with this limited access to resources.
Yeah. I unless I mean, I was gonna say unless Tasia's draws totally fall apart right here, it's looking like a solid deal. But even just in the reserve for Tasia, if you play the Chiron first and then you play that Thespian, those two right there are very strong. There's another spy to get rid of
Mm,
something.
yeah,
Thespian.
not sure it's gonna be enough. I think like their best bet from Sigisma would have been Anubis here, getting
Mm,
rid of the aloe vera anchored, but
true.
they might not even be playing that.
And this is
That's
very
yeah.
interesting. Muna Druid, just yeah, straight up don't need the anchor, going for stats. And ooh.
Oh, they did draw Dreamwalk training, but I still don't think that's gonna be enough. Yeah.
Yep.
So even if like yeah, even if Hyper K passes here, they would have won, but they're showing up. They're showing them that they still had all these and still played the Chiron on their hero side to 2-0 them. But yeah, congrats to Hyper K, another victory and going for an O in tournament.
Love it.
Nice to
Love
see
to see
some
it.
love to see some Muna player winning. Uh,
Yeah.
God knows that wouldn't be me.
Same, same. But there is another Sigismar deck playing tonight that does have at least two Anubis that we saw earlier. But let me refresh here. As for airdropping some boxes to Brazil, I actually did start a conversation around that. And like I'm super open to work things out like that for people. It's just every time we look into it, it's the shipping is just ridiculous. And then it has to go through customs and who knows.
Customs are going to kill you. Yeah.
Funnily enough, I sent a Trial by Frost first player token to Fish in Hungary, and I don't think it's made it there yet. Um, I'm gonna look at the tracking while you
Right.
see here. Are we
Watching the end of one more game before we jump into the next round. And we have a Rin player. I think they are on 1-1, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, Let me double check. Yeah, Tremeister on 2-1, so still battling for this top 8.
you said Treemeister?
Yeah.
I
Well,
love the
Tremeister is on
name too.
Rain, and then Karma goes hard on Aegismar.
Karma goes hard. Nice. Ooh, I love to see the Jack
Aegismar a little
Frost.
bit, yeah. The Aegismar a little bit in ahead here. Don't know if Rin will be able to match them. Kind of unfortunate that this Saskia that like their companion side isn't on forest. Actually,
Yep.
neither of the expedition are on forest, meaning they had to play the Persephone either side. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be uh the
Oh, and the rat comes out too. Yep. I looked up the tracking. I sent that token on February 1st, and as of today it's still just somewhere. Who knows
what
where.
did you send it to?
Hungary.
Hungary, okay.
Yeah, and that's literally just an envelope this size,
Right.
and it's taking that long. So
Yeah, that's interesting.
it might be
Eh,
faster to freaking take a boat and take some boxes to Brazil.
You're gonna smuggle altered odds.
Oh, I did last night watch about narco submarines that they built to carry drugs through the ocean. So maybe I'll make a altered submarine.
Right, let's see where we are with round 5, and I might have to take a break as we start this round.
Yeah, always
Uh, but
stay
well,
hydrated.
we have one less game.
Looks like we have
Uh,
two, three still going, but
I
one
have
of them.
used on Pedroguinha. Maybe we can take a look at this one. Um,
I'm going to send something in the stream team while we load up this game.
and so,
All
yeah,
right.
what's going on this one? So it's Izmir Mirror, but Afanas versus Lindiwe, and looks like Afanas slightly ahead.
Ooh, off you
So
go.
off you go. Going to be, yeah, fairly strong here. Afanas being adjacent means Lindiwe cannot afford to give them any expedition, and so yeah, it might be kind of a tough ask. So upgrading this jellyfish into a
And
moth on
there
a
goes
card, and then the
another off
next
you
off you
go.
go, coming down. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what can happen here for Pedroguinha.
4 mana is a
Maybe
lot of mana, but gotta block two sides.
it
Oh,
is, but yeah,
GG in the chat.
like they don't have the answer. Not sure what would have worked here. Maybe Anubis could. Not really, right? Because we would have to sack the moth, and then they would sack the disciple. Hmm. All right. So yeah, FNS taking it, taking one more. I think another player going to for an O here. And let's see where we are with standings. So our 3 undefeated players being fused, which we just watched on Afanas. Kaiki won. I don't know what they're playing. They were playing against Gamanight last round and won. Taking a look if I can find the deck list. They are on Afanas as well.
Mm.
And then Hyperk, our Teja, our resident Teja player. So 2 Afanas and 1 Teja so far on undefeated. Let's see, maybe the Afanas player are going to match up and do some friendly fire there. That's
Yeah,
what I'm looking for.
once the next round gets posted and we get into a game, we still got Frond and Alzir going. All Zephyr from Colombia.
Mm.
Nice. Siggy versus Siggy. And hey, here's this Anubis, Moth Lantern, Kokaba, Siggy that we were talking about earlier for blue. But once we get into round 5, you throw us into a match. You can go take a break, and I'll try to keep up the pronunciation of names as good as I can.
I'm sure it will be entertaining.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, this is actually a really interesting spot here. Um,
Yeah, playing permanent heavy Stage Smart. Certainly interesting.
yeah, because Frond just has to win one side and is working on that, but all Zephyr is they're calling GG.
Well, they have
Uh,
the Kakoba that can sleep 2 things. No, 1 thing. But Kill, yeah. Probably going to be enough with only one card left from our Zephyr.
Yeah, we don't
Yep.
even get to see what the last card is. Four mana. Wonder what it was.
Right.
Wasn't enough. They saw the writing on the wall, I guess. It honestly wouldn't have taken too much though. So looking at the discard, maybe it was a monolith or something, and that's why it just
I
was
mean, I
not going to
think
do
even a
anything.
single character wouldn't really work, right? Because they were losing on both sides. So they would
Yeah.
have to commit to sides which wouldn't really work.
Never count out those dang Ortis tokens though.
Right.
Fused versus Hyper K, or should we see if
I think
Kaiki?
we can see Kaiki. We haven't seen
Yeah.
any of their games yet. They're playing
See if
against Keilon Guy.
yep, Keilon
Well, I
Guy
think this is
gives an
kind of
upset.
this is an FNS mirror, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen any so far, and this might be interesting.
We're trying to caster curse Keilon Guy.
So the game just loaded. All right, and Keilon Guy starting off with a Conjuring Seal, which is whoa, and Conjuring Seal on both sides. That's definitely not what I expected. All right, on this I will leave you for a couple minutes, uh, and let's see what it looks like when I come back.
All right, sounds good. I'll try my best. Should probably pull up the feed so I can see when Tom comes back. Don't jump scare myself. Right now, it's literally the exact same though. Conjuring Seal, Conjuring Seal. Hey, and there's some moths. This is just the common though, and so it's only going to be one moth. And a mage dancer, there's a lot of ways this can actually very easily beat that moth. Ooh, but then there is a training coming out to boost it up, and then a magical training. It's the moth versus the dancer. See if there's another spell in hand, and there is another magical training. Both Aonis players, though, have a slightly overloaded reserve. Although I think getting rid of this Conjuring Seal is a likely choice. Benefit of the Moth is Keilon Guy is less overloaded in the reserve. Doesn't have to get rid of as much. And that Moth is only going to be 2 mana this time. Ooh, Snowball Commando. That would be cool to see. So, chat, what's your favorite hero and why? Ooh, is it going to take out the no more moths? Not the moths.
All right, and I'm back. So what happened in this game?
Welcome back. A lot of things have been kind of one for one, although I got kind of mixed up because Keilon Guy is supposed to be the Mothman, but I'm now realizing Keilon Guy is the Aonis on top, and Kaiki has actually been the one playing Moths. So it was a fight
Mm.
of Moth versus Mage Dancer. Keilon Guy was able to pull it out. Now they're just throwing off egos at each other.
Pretty
Uh,
different from what I've seen so far. We're on day 2 and there is only one advancement total, now 2 advancement total, compared
yep,
to all the games we've seen so far where players advance really quickly in at least one region every day. Is kind of a big difference. Also, Keilon Guy now being 2-0 over Kaiki.
yep. The other thing is now each day they have overloaded their reserve just a little bit. We have not seen any spell pickup yet, but maybe now is the time. Did everyone remember to do their taxes?
Look at this adult in the room.
I don't want to be thrown in prison. If you don't do your taxes in America, you might as well be dead. Just kidding. They've gutted the IRS and no one gets audited anymore. So cheat
Right.
on your taxes. Don't file your taxes. Be like Blade.
Wait, that's illegal.
It is illegal to not file your
But no one
taxes.
cares about the law anymore. Yeah. All right. Well, thankfully, I don't live in the United States, so I will have to do my taxes.
Yeah, so far we're not seeing too much to go off of yet on where these players are going. They're both just kind of slapping each other. And there we go. There's some spice. A unique spindle harvesters gains anchored. It has one or more boosts. At dusk, you may
Wow.
return a spell. And when you play a spell, you may pay one. And there's the tree.
That's
Let's
actually
go.
kind of an insane spindle harvester, right?
Hmm.
Like it has both the resupply and getting spells back. Like, but it is also 2 mana for no stats, and you have to pay 1 for a supply. I still think it's pretty good.
Very easy to get that one boost on it. We'll see what spell comes out. Hey, it's Moth. I am very interested in the common Moth to Flame, and if that is a choice because of rare slots or what
I think it's
'cause
usually what they play, right? I don't even know what does a rare do.
yeah, so the rare will actually create a moth in each expedition. So in my tree faunus, I have the rare, but it does cost more from hand and from reserve. It's 4 and 3.
4 and 3, okay.
And then it is a rare slot, so it is
Yeah.
pricier.
I don't even really know that FNS likes to play in both sides. Like usually they try to to 1-4-1 you. So I don't know. I think I've seen mostly the comp being played, but
Yeah. Yeah, Blue says it's just a cost thing, which makes sense. I might have to take a look back at my deck. It's also, uh, what rares you have versus what you don't. And I just so happen to have 3 rare Moth to a Flames and 1 rare Moth
wait, so you're
Lantern.
going to
So,
play bad cards just because you own them?
yeah, I mean, isn't that what
That's
you do?
no.
Let's see. All
I
right.
mean, my uniques maybe, but
Daring Porter
all
here.
right.
If you control one or more landmarks, resupply. Boom. Love that with the tree. You may discard a spell from your reserve. If you do, sabotage. Otherwise, you may exhaust target card in reserve. Also love that. That is very good
And you can
tree
also
tech.
use the support to get a spell back, which not
Hmm.
irrelevant in FNS.
I'm all out of iced coffee now.
All right, I'm going to put their mineral harvester to sleep now, just to be able to keep banking on those triggers. I wonder if they're going to pay the one to supply. Looks like not. Probably want to keep the 3 mana up to threaten another sleep. I think Keilon Guy pretty far in advance on this game.
Yeah.
Um, especially if Keiki doesn't manage to stop them on the companion side, which they might be able to. They still have a lot of resources.
Yeah, this rare mage dancer and the rare magical training is a very good combo in the reserve for Kaiki, but that beauty sleep is scary. So I like the Rhyme Frost to come out, remove that, and give a boost to a moth. Now you can still play those two mage dancer, magical training.
Yeah,
I
I don't
love
think they're
love
going.
my mage
Are they
dancer.
going to be playing the Mage Dancer? I think they just. Yeah, I think they're just on the magical training plan probably.
Yeah, we'll see. If they don't play
Like that would
it,
be enough to block Keilon Guy on forest on the companion side.
yeah. Yeah, and I guess it does get rid of the magical training, and then you only have to maybe get rid of the Rhyme Frost, but neither. There's going to be an off you go on the Spindle Harvester, which is good. Not going to be able to pick up that beauty
That's
sleep
all
again.
right, but the problem is that yeah, you are losing a lot of cards to clean up
Yep.
this turn.
Yep. Yep. That's kind of why I was interested in the Mage Dancer as well, because if you do
Yeah,
that, you're
you're
getting
saying it's basically free, right?
two card draws because you're playing the Mage Dancer and then you're playing the Magical Training. It gets the Mage Dancer up enough to give you the card.
No,
And
you only get 2 boosts if you do that though, right?
oh
Mage
shoot.
Dancer requires 3, so I don't think that
Yeah,
really works.
you would need a
You need
third.
another spell.
Yeah. But now they are overloaded, as you mentioned.
Yeah, they're super overloaded, so they're going to have to clean up. That being said, like they're not that far behind on cards in hand, so
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't matter all that much. The only issue is they are still far behind on the advancement on expeditions. This is an interesting mirror match for sure, and going pretty slowly. We're on day 5, and um, yeah, not a lot of advancement on our side. And Baba Yaga being resupplied. Okay, that's a pretty pretty simple one, just from hand draw card. Pretty close to the rare one, except for stats, I guess.
Yeah, so I went over, checked in on the Hyper game versus Fused, and Hyper is currently 2 moves ahead, looking to maybe make that them being head to head. So we might have uh, the resolution for who remains undefeated after this one. Because as of now, Hyper, Kaiki, and Fused are our last undefeated players.
Right. So Kaiki is fighting for 5 and no spot, but Keilon Guy is on 4 and 1. So if Keilon Guy wins, then this means like we will have both 4 and 1s at the end of this round. Um, I think this means like we technically are not guaranteed to have one undefeated player. Um, but not that it matters all that. First place is still going to be decided by tiebreakers. Or would still be decided if A6 and
Yeah.
so yeah, looking at the Looking at this match as well, it looks like yeah, Hypercade.
Yeah, this Baba Yaga is interesting. Is it how much different is it even
From the
than
rare, I think the rare is like 3/2, and this one is 2/3, and that's basically it. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, Baba Yaga is still a fine card, and like you don't have access to it at common in Izmir, right? Like
Yeah, so it is common in
it is a base
Ysmir.
orders. Oh, it is a common on Izmir.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's 2/1/2 for the common and then
Oh
three
yeah, yeah.
two
Okay.
two for the
Sorry. Yeah. Of
rare.
course.
So it technically has one more stat, but it just does not have any extra abilities.
Hmm.
I do love the art though.
All right, and Kaiki taking one edition or closing in, I would say, on one expedition. So Keilon Guy now only has one lead. Um, Pretty even on cards. See how they. Let's see how Keilon Guy manages to do that. They are starting this turn, so it's slight disadvantage.
Yeah, let's see. Does
Also,
this
yeah, crucially,
order?
crucially being able to commit their mage dancer. So Hyperkey does take the win and is our first undefeated player at 5-0.
Nice. Yeah, what's really strong about this porter that Kaiki has though is it's going to exhaust the spindle harvesters from Keilon Guy. I really like that you have the
Yeah, and it
choice of
keeps resupplying. It's a really strong one.
yeah, if you don't have a spell to discard, which most often you probably won't want to, but maybe sometimes, you'll just exhaust, which is basically half, maybe more like 75% sabotage.
Right, and another spindle harvester from Keilon Guy.
Yep. This one is like the other one's big brother, where it has one little water stat, and then it has the same return a
Yeah.
spell from your reserve if you have one boost.
But no, when you play a spell resupply, instead it has a support ability of putting a spell to your hand. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, those are like, yeah, pretty similar, pretty strong, both of them. Even though they are 2 mana, like the fact that they encourage themselves as a when played from anywhere ability makes it pretty strong. And also, this is kind of the best trigger you can get at dusk with one boost.
Yeah, for sure. Ooh, is the off you go gonna get rid of it though?
Could be that or the mage dancer. Um, they can technically replay the spindle harvester, but it will cost 2 mana, so I think it's still
You go.
pretty tough. Oh no, okay. That's
I don't know why
interesting.
you would hit that one, but
Yeah, that's basically the last thing I would have hit, but maybe Eki has some reason that I'm not understanding. I'm sure he has played a lot more FNS than I am, so
yep. I was thinking if you hit the mage dancer that's in the hero expedition, it just goes away.
right.
Uh, m- maybe they wanted both of them to be fleeting, but as we've mentioned, if you let an Aonis get just basically one more move here, they're in small step territory. So it's a very risky play.
Yeah. That be oh okay, yeah. Helping hand pretty strong here.
Yeah.
Very flexible. Hmm. What does this card do again? Okay, it's pretty bad. Because
Yeah.
there's only a single exhausted card in reserve. It doesn't even trigger.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
that's pretty stinky.
I think there's a
Mm,
chance right here that Keilon Guy just takes it, right? What is he? He needs water. He needs 2 water. It's gonna get 1 there, 2 for the boost, 1
yeah,
there.
I haven't counted what triggers have been resolved yet, but I think you're right. At least it's putting a lot of pressure
Yeah, I think he's gonna
on
be
Kaiki.
one away.
Well, he's not winning on Hero's side so far, but
Yeah.
there are still some triggers to be resolved. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't like paying attention to what was board state before the spell was cast, and there are about 1 million triggers on the in limbo right now. Um, Either way, like the Kaiki has only 1 mana, so I don't know what they could do. Presumably not that much. If they had a rhyme, they would have definitely played it on the helping hand before playing the Chrysalis. So I think we can fairly confidently say they don't have that.
Yeah. Their
Um,
own helping hand right here would go pretty hard on
it
their own
would,
Mage
yeah.
Dancer.
It would let them draw. Yeah, it would be pretty good. See if they can find that. Oh, so I guess like Keilon Guy is right now is choosing the Aonis trigger. Thinking about where to put the boost. Considering that hero side, like the boost doesn't really help them. Yeah, I think it makes a lot more sense to put it on the companion side. Oh,
Oh,
beauty
even
sleep is a
worse.
huge one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and so Kaiki going to 2-0 here, but leaving a huge mage dancer on the board. That being said, like he still has a beauty sleep and enough Hugo to deal with it. So maybe not that worried about this mage dancer.
Yeah.
And
The other
interestingly,
thing,
no spell to bring back. Yeah, with the
yep. The
so
spindle did not get a boost, so it's not going well. And
well,
yeah,
there
there
was
is
no
no spell
spells in
anyways.
reserve either. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see if there's a small step here. That was a very big turn, and there it
Ooh, and it
is.
is. Maybe they drew it. Yeah.
Oh boy,
Okay.
that was
Yeah.
that was
Very,
nice.
very nice. Yeah. Wasn't necessarily expecting that. So Kaiki going to maintain their 5-0 position, undefeated position in the tournament, with this win over the Keilon Guy. And I don't know if we have any other matches left to watch before. No, it looks like last round is starting right away, and we're going to be watching table one for this one. Asia versus Afanas, Hyper K versus Kaiki, who we just watched. Hyper K has a rating of 546 LO. He's the 19th best player in the world right now.
Yeah, yeah.
He's kind of unreal, yeah. Especially as like a main Teja player, which I don't think would be widely considered as the best hero right now. Pretty far from it. Well, not that far from it, but as much as I love Muna on paper, it's hasn't been performing like necessarily the best.
Yeah,
But
and
like
it
a dedicated player, like really knows their deck in and out and putting out the result. Yeah.
Yep. And as we've gone over the deck from Hyper, it's all beyond the gates. It's all very simple. Tasia tech. The uniques are not these anchored uniques that people might complain about a lot in discords. And I mean, just a very good player because I technically have access to all of these cards and play them in some regard, and yet I am nowhere near that caliber. So
All right. I don't think that match has started just yet. I'm refreshing the page.
Yeah, it's still
waiting for it
hyper
to.
expected at the table. Go to the table, no, don't leave now.
Maybe they had to also take a break. Um, or maybe it's yeah, it's interesting because Gaki just finished that game, right? But he had a couple of minutes to take a break if he or she wanted to. Um,
Paging Dr. Hyper. Be funny to like fall asleep at this point or something. I mean, to be
I mean, they're in
fair,
Brazil, so like they're not at a weird time zone as some other
yeah,
players might be.
and Hyper has already gone undefeated more than once, so maybe they're just like, you know what? Hey, they just joined the game.
And we're jumping in right away as they are selecting decks.
Unfortunately for the last match, Keilon Guy says my first 5 mana cards were 3 SSGL and 2 Beauty Sleep. The game typically ends from that. That is very unfortunate. Kaiki's last play was also very, very nice and well done. That Beauty Sleep is a devastating 1 mana card to have in hand.
All right, and Hyper K rolled to be the first player here. I don't know how much they care about this. Like, it technically, if they play some kind of Spindle Harvester, it could get interacted with, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure if
as
that's really what the FNS player is after.
Yeah, as Tasia, it depends on, I feel, what you have for your opening. If your only option is like a Dracana, which Hyper might actually not
Mhm.
even play.
That's a good question. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't think
right
we've.
there.
Oh, and there you go.
I was gonna say, if that is your only card to play, I much prefer going second.
Right. So you're saying it's
Um,
pretty much one of the worst.
yeah, but if they
Because
had the
it could be
spindle
off you
and
go there.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, if they had the spindle and the Chiron, then whatever, first is fine.
Right. But looks like Kaiki doesn't have the off you go, or at least like they choose to go with Baba Yaga instead. Interestingly, choosing to advance on the same side. I don't know if there's much of an argument. I've yet to see a lot of theory crafting about in this situation. Like, do you want to discover both biomes, or do you want to uh, be on the same side as your opponents?
Yeah. That is
Of
that is
course.
a really good strategy question. I usually try to match my opponent unless there's something else that I can see. And how I look at it is the companion side is more of a free like advancement in a way because you have 3 options versus the others.
Mhm.
So if I can keep that equal with my opponent, we're both having that same advantage in the same place. I try to, but yeah, I'm sure there are people who think much further ahead on how they approach
I
that.
mean, yeah, on the first turn, like I don't know how far you can think. I'm sure like you can think about it ahead of time and always make the same decision. It doesn't really have to be tied to all of your cards. Thankfully, yeah. Thankfully for them, like IPK kind of high rolled on the biomes there and got both of the right biomes for the Hydra Kana. So Kaiki wasn't really able to do much against the four
Yep. Very
that the
nice.
Kana was. But now they are on the mono forest biome, so choosing to get on the other side. Kaiki just going to wait it out, but they have the magical training. And now we see the Chiron being played to give a boost to both of those cards. The Nilam being played on the Afana side, going to match the Chiron and also going to give Kaiki some advantage down the line. Now, whenever they exhaust a card from Hyperkey's reserves, they're going to be able to get that moth out.
Yeah, I really like both players and their sequence in getting their landmark out. A lot of times it can be very risky on a landmark turn where you're basically sacrificing your turn, but both players getting out their landmarks worked it very well to
Yeah.
where they still progressed. So it's very good.
So they both got it out when they were like second player, right? And
Yep.
so it was much less risky because they allowed their opponent to commit more resources first. Yeah, I think pretty even so far. I would say. And both players have been playing pretty quickly so far, so I guess like not that much decision making to be doing in the early turns. But now as the game progresses and we're getting closer to the finish line, I think lines of play get a lot more complicated. Okay, and we see this Tooth Fairy coming out to remove this Chiron, start to grind out some card advantage from Hyper K.
Yeah, see, yeah, this is not too wild of a unique here. From hand, it gains anchored, and then from reserve, it can anchor one, three or less character.
Yeah, including itself, but not necessarily. Um, right, so yeah. Oh, so second Nilam. Second Nilam is interesting. That starts to be a bit scary for Hyper K because now like any rhyme can be a 1 mana 4/4.
Yeah, and I was just about to say this can be a very good turn for the Tasia though, and yep, there it is. The Tooth Fairy play onto Chiron. I with that many cards in hand, I don't know if I would have done that because it's not that huge of a loss for Tasia.
Mm,
Where if you save it and you get rid of this Thespian, it's a little bit bigger of a loss, or just something else in reserve. But
yeah. I'm guessing like they didn't want to commit the Nilam, like not knowing what's gonna happen, but yeah, I can see your argument for avoiding that.
yeah,
Yeah, I know Hyperk
also
like being quite a bit ahead with the expedition lead and some board presence, but as I was saying, like Rhyme Frost here being 1 mana 4/4 worth of stats, and you can even split them across like two different expeditions. Pretty strong, yeah.
yeah, the getting out the double tree is nice. And now the amount of mana that Aonis has is going to do some good work. But the other thing
So
is
I really
targeting the
don't like
beauty sleep.
anchoring. Yeah, I
I don't ever
really.
gonna not gonna play the 3 for beauty sleep. So
Mm, yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. I guess you never know. They don't have a lot of cards in hand, so I could see them doing it, but probably not when you have like all 2/2s. I guess is a good point. Um, I feel like yeah, anchoring is really risky here from Hyper K because like they could very easily eat a off you go on the Tespian,
mm,
but I'm not sure Ikaiki has it. Looks like
yeah,
they're just trying to match the stats, which
yeah.
they could also play the rhyme just to get the extra stat and a card draw from the Mage Dancer, which they probably will because yeah, it would be. I mean, they will have to clean up a card anyway.
Yeah, off you go on the thespian right now would
Okay,
be very
sure.
good, but
No, it
doesn't happen.
doesn't look like they have it. They're trying to dig for it with their magical training, but maybe for next turn. That being said, like they're still 2-0ing this turn and going back to even on progress. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's starting to get a bit dicey for Deja, I think, especially in terms of resources. Um, they're going to get one card frozen as well by this rhyme again next turn. Let's see if Hyperkid decides to put a card down in mana, and they don't. So yeah, that's
Oof.
kind of expected.
Yeah, being 2 mana down and tied with an Aonis though is pretty scary. The interesting thing is instead of using the quick action on meditation training, they spent the mana to anchor the the shroom, which would have given them more benefit if it came from reserve. So there must be something that was that last card in hand that does not suit them very well. Two cards and
Yeah,
5 mana is a rough spot for Muna.
and the Chrysalis are really like not looking that great. Boss games that we've seen them. Uh, yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's also interesting that they played it now instead of exhausting something first and then playing
Right,
it.
because they have the
They're
Rhyme
just
Frost like in hand, right? I also find it pretty weird for them to Rhyme Frost like first and exhaust the Nilams. Like they have two Rhyme Frost here, so they could use the Nilam later down the line. But I guess it's not really mattering because Hyper K is dumping everything on one side anyway. Um, yeah, I don't know. We could easily see FNS win right away, right? They have what, 3 more stats here plus like 2 more from the rhyme. I think that's game. Yeah.
yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So tough for APK. Going to end up at 5-1, which is still a really good finish, but even though they had a pretty big lead ahead in the game, Afanas like once it had both Nilam going and enough resources to play a bunch of spells in the turn, like it's really hard for them um, to compete with that. So yeah, we have our 6-0 player Kaiki. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, that was very nice. I went ahead and looked back. This is their second AWOL. Their first one was back earlier in the month, also on Aonis, I think the same build. So Hyper K did lose, but they are also like a 3-time champion by now. So Kaiki going from 8th place on their first showing now to being first is very good to see. I'm sure Hyper just, looked into all of that and said, how about I give someone else a chance? So let Kaiki take the
Right.
win
I
there.
mean, like, yeah, 5-1 is still like very good finish.
Yeah.
At the same time, like I'm here trying to see if we can catch a glimpse of the last matches going on. We had Kaifu versus Impuissant. Looks like Kaifu's taking it with a 2 lead in the last round.
Oh, yep. I went to click on it and it says Kaifu won.
Um, then maybe the last match we can watch is Used and Keilon Guy. The one that is like least as the least progress. Let's watch more FNS because
Yeah, so taking a
yeah,
look at the standings, if Fused wins here, I think there's a chance to knock Keilon Guy out of the top 16. And I'm not sure Keilon Guy has qualified yet. I can take a look while you're looking at the game. No, he has. So
Yeah,
he's still good either way,
he's
but
looking pretty ahead in this game as well, but we'll see. Um, as you say, it's not over until it's over, but this is looking pretty over in my opinion.
yeah. Can we erase Keilon Guy's qualifications so that this match has higher stakes and is more interesting?
Do you want to text Simon to check about that?
Yeah, I'll put in a request.
Yeah, I don't have executive privilege on this one. Um, oh, okay, off you go. Might be doing something here. Not really actually. There's like this. Oh, okay, I guess they can off you go something else, and then give 2 more boosts to the. So they can give 3 more boosts total, but not. No, okay, because they can play like off you go plus. Helping hand on the Keilon Guy side. Hmm. I guess can play the Mage Dancer and then give 3 boosts with helping hand.
Yeah, that helping hand is a very good spell in a Faunus. Um, so Fuse is calling the GG. I'm guessing just betting on Keelan Guy having the small step this turn. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
maybe they knew that he had off you go because
Yep, that
of a
works too.
previous spindle harvester. Yeah, that works.
No small step needed.
Yeah, just unique set. Bring back 5 spells a turn to your hand. Are enough. Who would have guessed?
Having two of them out at once.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Keilon Guy going to take this one. And
All
I
right.
think that about concludes our tournament. Do you want to maybe have a quick recap of the standings? So we have Kaiki undefeated at 6-0 on Afanas. Gamanight rallied to 5-1 on Nevenka. Freeloader also rallied to 5-1 on. Oh no, he was on Afanas, right? Freeloader, or was he on Cojo? I think he was on Afanas, right?
My
Let me
BGA
double check.
decided to be slow. And I am not on the account I should be, which has premium to make it faster. Freeloader was on Kojo.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
no, Freeloader was on Cojo. My bad. Yeah, usual
yeah.
resident Cojo player. And then Hyper fell in the last round to 5-1 on Deja. And then we have 12 more people on 4-2. I'm not going to enumerate all of them, but you will be able to find the results in maybe an hour or so on 39cards.com. Um, any closing thoughts on this tournament, Cole?
Freeloader says that he only lost because of the caster curse, so that's fine. Has
I'm here for it.
Freeloader
Yeah.
qualified? I'm gonna start looking for what players haven't qualified so we can start cursing them and making it a little more exciting. The tournament is not technically fully finished yet, so the standings may shift, but your top one
Oh, right. Yeah.
through four will not really change. Keilon Guy might drop from sixth down a little. I don't know why these players that qualify on one deck have to keep coming and beating everybody up, but
Actually, we have Butchocks and Daggeron, so we're going to have one more player on 5-1.
ooh,
That
nice.
I wasn't following. And let's see what is. I don't think we've covered either of those player. Daguerre from Portugal and Butchocks from
Whew.
Chile.
Did you pull up the match?
No.
There's three Hydras
All
on one
right.
side right now.
We're going to be catching a glimpse of that.
You might just miss it.
Uh, So yeah, double Hydra came out against like a bunch of stuff. Looks like Deja took it. Oh, triple Hydra came out. Okay.
Yep, triple
Okay, okay.
Hydra.
Yeah, quite a bold state to be closing this match.
Yeah,
So
this is I would if you're watching this and interested in some Muna decks, some Tasia decks, I would look up this Buchox Buchox deck as well, because that is very interesting to see, especially against a Sigismar. So I might have to take a look at that later on.
yeah, so Butchucks being our fourth player at 5-1 is the Teja list that we just saw. And then the last match going on is on players 3-2. One of them going to upgrade to 4-2. And then in the back tables, we have Frond on Sigismar versus Rovancher. Uh, yeah, probably not going to be looking at that game, but should end up pretty soon.
Yeah, we can go ahead and start wrapping up here.
Yep.
Thank you guys for watching in chat. If you have any questions, toss them at us, and I'll let the executive chef here, Tom, uh, tell us how we're closing out.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was a pretty interesting tournament. I was really happy to take a look at it with you, Cole. Kind of expecting the Afanas to be dominating, or at least like having a really strong presence. But it was still cool to see a few other making an appearance, especially like Kojo and Asia. I think a little bit less expected. Sigismar, we know, is also a really strong deck. We saw a couple Lindy Way also doing not too bad. I haven't checked, but I think some of them might be at 4-2. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to see to say. Um, I hope you guys keep. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Everyone watching, and stay tuned for more streams next week on Monday, European time at 1 p.m. Eastern time for the US and 7 p.m. for Europe. We have the AWOL on Monday, and then next week same time, Wednesday. I'm not sure who is going to be covering it, but we are going to have some coverage of it.
Yes. Hopefully it is not me, because I need to qualify, and I was just looking through the top 16 here real quick. There is a Sierra alphabet souped that hit top 16. So
Wow, nice.
um yeah, I want to see some more diversity in heroes, and I might just have to try to bring that myself, but very good to see Tasia's in the top. It does seem like Cojo is creeping up there. People are realizing how strong Bravos can be with the new tech in Trial by Frost, and a lot of interesting things to see. Even as much as I don't like Ordis, the Sigismar decks are more interesting than previously. So it's cool to see what differences they make.
All right. And yeah, I think that's going to be closing our stream today. Thanks everyone for watching, and have a good evening.
Bon voyage.